Hi, I'm Christy Ross. I am the ballet director at Time to Shine, and we thought we would do a how-to tutorial on making a high bun, which is the most common hairstyle that we need for dancers, and a lot of you haven't had any experience with that, and we hope this helps make it a little easier for you to understand and do for the showcase.
All right, let's look at the tools that will make a successful bun, and I thought I'd sort of zoom in on the tools themselves so that you can see them in comparison to one another. First and foremost is just a good brush that's going to help first smooth out all the tangles of the hair and make sure that the hair has been thoroughly brushed so that the smoothie brush can go through. And then the smoothie brush, that's our most important. It's got hard kind of nylon bristles, very dense. It helps to sleek out the hair, and this is the most important thing that's going to provide that sleek hair that goes into the ponytail. And you can find these wherever, but you need both brushes to be able to get the ponytail secured nicely and very smooth. Next is a ponytail holder that matches your hair color. You can get, as you can see, a wide variety of colors, but you need one that matches hair color just in case the hair, for some reason in the bun, doesn't cover the ponytail cover. We don't want to see something bright pink or purple. We want this to blend in and be disguised. Next is our roller pins. They are pins that are about 2 to 2.5 inches long. This particular kind curves a little, has little ribs. It helps to secure the bun almost all the way across and really lock the hair in. I'm kind of contrast this in size, as you can see, to the bobby pins. Bobby pins are just small and meant for little, small bits of hair that come out, but they're not meant for securing a bun. So you really don't want to use those unless you've got a wee little one who's a sparkle or jewel, doesn't have very much hair, and maybe their bun's are going to be about the size of a walnut. Then you can use this, and the roller pin would probably overwhelm it. But otherwise, for any girl who has a lot of hair or thick hair, roller pin is what you're going to need to use. And you'll probably need at least 6 to 8 of those. Another option are these heavy duty, they're again almost the length of the roller pin, hairpins. They are very thick, very sturdy. These are good to use. You'll see some that are kind of about half the length of this, very thin and flimsy. Don't use those. They really don't do a good job of securing the hair, especially if girls have lots of turns. Their hair is going to fly out. But you have to know how to secure these properly, and I'll show you as we're doing the bun later. We also have these little clips that match the hair color. They're good for short layers of hair that are kind of popping out and don't want to get smoothed into the rest of the hair. These will secure them very nicely and be disguised. And then lastly is a hairnet. You want it matching the hair color. They come in all different hair color sizes. You can get these at 3rd Avenue Dance Supply or any other hair supply store. If you have all of these things, a little bit of hair gel, water, you are good to go. So we start with placing the ponytail. It's important to start with damp or even wet hair, and this works for all hair types, including very curly hair or even hair with bangs, short hair. I'll talk about different variations. But you want to, Sydney, I'm going to have you turn your knees the other way so they can see. Start by making a nice clean ponytail. And where you put it is a very important placement. We want it to follow the line of the cheekbone, so the line of the hairline will pull up and the ponytail will be placed, like if I put my head on the top of the head, it'll be right at the top of that. So we use our smoothie brush to just smooth all the hair into a nice sleek ponytail. Water. And if you have curly hair, the best thing to do is to apply some gel to your hands and put it through the hair before you brush it. That's going to help it to lay very flat. That and the smoothie brush will allow it to be very, very sleek. So we don't want any bumps. Bumps are bad. And it's probably very good to practice so that when you're working with, you have a sparkle or a jewel, one that hasn't had her hair done in a bun before, you practice before the show so that they're used to how much pressure, because Some of them have very tender scalps, so that it's not a traumatic experience for the day of dress rehearsal or show. But it should feel like they're getting a bit of a facelift. So I'm going to spray a little hairspray in here too. It helps to kind of give it a little bit more sleek and tidy nature as I'm going along. All right, now for the rubber band. And as I said, this does take a little bit of practice, so it's good to do a trial run. As you can see, it's very smooth, and it's the reason why we want to have a very sleek and almost kind of shiny look to the hair as it's pulled back is that when they get on stage with the stage lights create a halo effect. If you have what we call wispies, that kind of little tendrils and loose hairs, and it's very distracting and actually distracts from the look of the dancer on stage, and we want them to look their very best. And so, like I said, all the hair back here, whether it's curly or straight, if you use a smoothie brush, will be nice and sleek and tidy, especially if you have curly. You just move a little bit more gel along here, and it will create a beautiful uniformity for all the dancers, so they all look very much the same. Okay, we zoomed in a little bit so you can see more clearly how we're going to create the bun. I'm actually going to show it two different ways. Depending on the amount of hair, I could do two different ways to do Sydney's hair. I could twist it in one big twist and twist it around, and we want it to lay as flat as possible against the head and pin that, and that would work very nicely. But I know we have lots of girls who have a lot of hair, it's very long or it's very thick, and something I find that works very effectively is to split it and divide it into two sections. So I'm going to do that and show that. But basically the most important thing is we just don't want something that sticks way out and protrudes from the head like that. That's not attractive. We just want it, like I said, a lovely, yummy cinnamon bun that's going to sit across the head and lie as flat as possible. So again, to keep it nice and smooth, we'll just wet it. Helps prevent those wispies, and we'll brush through it again just so again it's not bumpy and lumpy. And we twist each section. We're going to twist it and then coil it around the head, pinning as we go. And I'm going to use these roller pins, and it's going to grab some of the hair of the coil and the head of the scalp, and you're going to just jab it in there. They might flinch. It's okay. This is why you need to practice, because it might come as a surprise, a little bit of a discomfort if you jab it into their scalp. Hopefully you can avoid that. So we keep winding, again, as flat to the head as possible. And trying to disguise the ends. So there's one twist, and now I have another section, and I'm going to do the same thing, probably a little more water, and I'm going to twist. And I don't want to pile it on top. I'm going to keep going around the outside, pinning as I go. Trying to, ooh, that wasn't good. I'm a lefty. Got to do my left hand. There we go. That was a good one. And then getting those ends tucked in. Just checking for where I have something sticking out. Oh, see, it came out. No biggie. And tuck it in. Now, if you want to use one of those big hairpins, I'm going to hold this up against a piece of paper so you can see what those hairpins look like. These are the big hairpins I'm talking about. A lot of people use these incorrectly, and they're not very secure. A lot of people will stick one end into the bun and into the hair and put it in that way, and that's not how they're designed to. It's both prongs get put into the coil, and you grab then some of the hair on the scalp and then change the direction of it and then push it in, and that's going to keep it nice and secure. That's how you can use those hairpins. So as you can see, we've got nice coiled. It's not sticking out, it's lying nicely and flat. But a few little ends, that's where our hair net comes into play. We're going to simply open that hair net up and guide it around, pull it taut, twist it, pull it around, twist it, pull it around, and any little extra that you might have that you can't get around, you're going to kind of twist that and tuck that in, and you can secure that with a small bobby pin to just keep those ends from coming out. And then one more good spray around, close your eyes, Sid. And brush with the smoothie brush will help secure all of those little flyaways and wispies and give that wonderful smooth feel. Now for anybody who has really short hair, you want the same approach, but you might have little layers coming out. That's where, I'm going to show this again against my picture. You've got these little clippy clips that match the hair color. That's where you can utilize those and put them to secure any funny layers that you might have protruding out there. And again, spray with hairspray. And you are done. So it falls against the top of the head, follows the line of the cheekbone, and looks lovely and beautiful.